Hello and welcome back to TLT Talks. Beautiful, well, not really so beautiful, but we're going to make sure we're going to pretend it's a beautiful day out. Should be in high spirits. We've got a wonderful guest for you today. Some people jumping on the LitFag team, Beyond Capital. My homegirl from down south, Megan, is jumping on and will be joining us today. Any minutes now. There she is. The first time ever that just knew what you need to do to get on the live, knew all the logistics and the whatever. Very cool. You didn't have to spend any time going through it because she's wonderful, because she's gorgeous, because she's intelligent, because she's my homie from down south. Megan, how are you, my love?
I'm amazing.
Oh,
We're
good.
alive, healthy. You know, it's to share this moment with you is just extra special.
There you
How
go.
are
That
you?
smile, my God. Smile lights up all of Florida. Look at that shit. Unbelievable.
Sunshine's
Unbelievable.
how are you doing?
I love it. I love it. We're great, man. We're great. It's raining today. It's a little bit whatever, but you know we'll get through it. What is happening? Oh, Instagram made a new thing. Okay, here we go. Got it. So let me just take a moment to say thank you for coming on the show. I know you have your own show, which we'll introduce in a little bit, but you started with Compass in 2016. You were like literally the first person, and so you started at Compass, crushed that as you crush everything. But that wasn't enough for you. You then went after the leadership board of the Miami Association of Realtors, and then you crushed that, and now you're a chapter leader, and then you became a leadership board member, and then you got for the whole year board member. I mean, I can't even explain it all. We got to meet actually last year at the retreat, and we like immediately hit it off in both business and just outlook on life. And so I think you are a total rock star. I think that you are absolutely amazing. But for those that may not know you just yet, we got a helper now. What's up, my man? For those that might not know you just yet, take a few minutes, introduce yourself. Where have you been? What have you done? Tell us about you, Megan.
I appreciate being on the show. I've been watching it for, all the episodes. Just very humbled to be a part of it because you've had some rock. Seriously. But yes, so about me, this is my 10th year in real estate, which is very exciting. Not surprising considering I grew up with my father, who's from Long Island, New York, actually, a real estate developer.
Nice.
He discovered Jamaica when he was in his 20s.
Wow.
Never left. Yeah, quite the story. That's a whole nother story. So I grew up on sites with him, watching him develop infrastructures. You know, the city, it was just quite fascinating, you know, on the construction sites and watching him build and architectural background. But I always thought that I was going to be an attorney. I always had the path of advocacy, real estate, law, but never thought real estate would be my profession of choice. After attending UCF with a legal background and studying for the LSAT, I got accepted to law school. Sorry about that. And I had a moment where I just woke up and I said, I feel like I'm going into a field where I'm supposed to be going. Everyone's telling me to do it. We had a lot of attorneys in my family. And I just said, you know what? I'm packing my car and I'm driving to New York. So I actually lived in New York for 2 years, and I got into marketing. Yeah, I got into marketing and fashion, which was really exciting for me because it was a luxury real estate, it was a luxury fashion designer, a Turkish designer out of South Seaport and men's fashion. So that's really honed my marketing and relations with a high network clientele. So after doing that for 2 years, I was visiting back home and I had my first experience in Miami with a real estate professional. My sister from New York was buying a condo, never flew down to see it. She said, Megan, go and talk to this agent we found online. And long story short, you know, she was just amazing. I have to give it to her. I won't call her mentor, but she was the first person that said, you would be in this profession. And I was like excited about just selling the city that I love and call home. So I found my first real estate position on Craigslist, believe it or not,
No.
when job,
Nice.
yeah, insane.
Nice.
My mentor at the time, I was with him for 5 years. I was living in Brickell, which was very exciting. Brickell, Miami. That's in the downtown, for those who don't know. And after that, I got a position in real estate development. I was the sales director for 2 projects. And I have a passion for seeing, you know, land acquisition, watching communities being built, marketing new development. So I did that. And then I really had a moment where I felt like I was plateauing. I wasn't really excited or motivated. I felt like our industry was just, nothing excited me. And then a friend of mine out of New York, she posted she was with this company called Compass and marketing. And I was like, wait a second, this is fresh, this is sexy, this is different. So I called her and she's like, you have to.
Who was the friend? Anybody I know?
Diane.
Who was the friend?
Diane Costa. She's now actually moved from New York.
Yeah.
Brazilian
The
star.
Costa team. The Costa team. Yeah. Okay, very cool.
So we love Compass. Francis, love it. So
all right, we got Fierro on here. What's up, James?
I reached out to Robert on Facebook, and which is, you know, ironic. We had no presence really, and I mean, we had one Miami office. I was living in Fort Lauderdale. We had no presence. We didn't have data. We were talking about technology. Let's talk about nothing except the vision. And I went to New York on a trip, walked into headquarters, and that was it. You know, it was a flash. 4 years. We opened our Fort Lauderdale office 2 years ago, and we have top market share, credible teams and colleagues I work with. So that's my story of where I am.
Well, as you know, we like to have fun on the show. So what is this mystery fun fact, Megan?
So for many people, they don't know that I've always been a dancer my whole life. I love dancing, all different kinds. So I've been practicing for salsa, and I absolutely love salsa. So when you come down, I'm taking you guys out. And in the next year, depending on COVID, of course, I wanted to join a professional dance competition. So that's
nice. Nice. Very cool. Well, I don't know if James Fierro is still on here, but I'm going to blow him up a little bit. He's actually formerly a ballroom dancer, a professional ballroom dancer. He used to teach.
No way.
Yeah, wait, he's on here. So James, who is B Kamani? What are you doing on my Instagram, dude? What's happening? Oh, look at that. And Francis used to be a ballet dancer. Look at that. Amazing. Anyways, well, that's really cool. Actually, do you want to take a second to plug your show? Megan actually has her own YouTube series that's really awesome, and it has to do with marketing and design and fashion. It's a very cool show. You want to give us a quick plug?
Yeah, so it's called Currently with Megan. You know, part of my day-in-day life, I love discovering new restaurants, new shops. I interview like top industry professionals and business owners, and it's, you know, you can follow me on Currently. I'm bringing it back because now I've actually shifted a bit, and I have Whereabouts is Compass every other Wednesday, where I talk to a Compass agent in a different region and just see how their market's going. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, we circulate this after this live. We then circulate it in our newsletter, and it goes to like over 100,000 people. So if you want to send us the links to your shows, we'd be happy to put it in the anything you're doing. I'd be excited to watch. So, well, Megan, let us jump in. So you have here's James in terms of the ballroom dancing. He says it's true. So you have such an impressive resume for someone who's so young. You started in real estate like early 20s, I think, right? And so, you know, this thing doesn't happen. It's actually really funny. I started at 21 as well. This thing doesn't happen overnight. You're obviously, you know, you're uber successful. You're a market leader, and this thing doesn't happen overnight. So I'd love it if you could share a little bit about your journey, right? Like there's probably plenty of things you've done that led to your success, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Now in hindsight, and then one can't be successful without having fallen on their face plenty of times. So, my business coach, Keith Cunningham, calls it the dumb tax. That you should learn from mentors so you avoid paying the dumb tax, right? Like, or also commonly known as just, smart people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So under that context, just let us know any, like, for your rising star entrepreneurs, what are the do's, what are the don'ts? And as a final piece to that, during that explanation, any role models, like who are your mentors? Who have you looked up to? Who do you read? Who do you watch? Who do you podcast? So all that in a chunk. Okay, go.
So I'm going to start with most recently. So I actually got a real estate coach about 1.5 years ago. And I was the one who used to look at the Tom Ferrys and the Tony Robbins. And I was like, is it really necessary? Is it necessary to coach? And finally, when I found my coach, let me tell you, it was a game changer for me. He pushed me. His name is Chris Robertson. He actually ended up coming over to Compass after. So he's actually, which was really exciting. But it's, whether it's a coach from, a Tom Ferry or Tony Roberts, or just someone that you can look to hold you accountable, it's so important. They certainly pushed me because I definitely have an affinity to take risks. I've just always been like that in my life. When something's too good, I'm like, let's shift. So I think this is very important for agents who are on teams. I joined Compass as a principal, but then I joined a top team in Broward, to join forces. And once you're in a team, it's hard sometimes when you're trying to think about navigating on your own. And having this real estate coach was super, super key for me to just shift and move from being on a team to taking on my own team. So
cool.
Real estate potential. My first broker when I started, he was incredible. He was just David Gorson. He was a real estate broker. He was a lender. He just gave me so much advice. I think not being afraid, trusting your gut, putting yourself there. I saw a big uptick in my business when I stopped being afraid of doing videos and having people, like, it doesn't matter if you take 50 takes to start your video and being in the forefront and just communicating. I remember before we even met, I was getting your emails and I was like, whoa, this is super impressive. And your consistency with it, and just being able to relate to your clients, and they want to see you. I did a panel yesterday, the millennials panel, and it was kind of the same thing from the legends and millennials. They were talking about consistency. We're always going to be something new in our industry. We're always going to have hurdles. Having a solid team as well is super important.
For sure.
That will allow you to go out and get more business, but also that can run the day in, day out, so that you're not, you have to I'm a little bit of a control freak. So that was another thing where, okay, when you find the right people, you can grow your business. So I think,
very
and then
cool.
Meditation, which the meditation link you sent me about the sleep meditation. Whoa. But I really started just, when I let off the pressure of each transaction, that changed everything for me. I was like, everything's going to come to fruition with have the right team. But when I was so like, oh, I have to be on top of this right now and not letting people, move things along, it was a beautiful thing. Things were happening naturally. And in the morning now, I've changed my routine, and gratitude is everything to me. People talk about it a lot, but it's amazing when you consistently talk about what you're grateful for. It's like magic around you. It just shifts everything. Mindset thing. I'm lucky that I have like good genes, but when I also got a health coach and trainer, that's been another thing for me. We hold a lot of baggage for our clients. So being able to work out, keep healthy, have a positive mindset, is everything. You know, I was
Yeah.
more in the past just going through each day in, day out, and just bringing business as it came in. But when I had more control of my mindset, I had control of my business, which was key to me. And I have to say, for anyone who's watching, saying no. I
Mm-hmm.
always say yes, yes, take
Mm-hmm.
on any client, any, you know, when I started saying no, I got rid of like negativity and things that weren't serving me, my business, and my team.
Yeah, for sure. That's so spot on. I mean, mindset is 80% of everything. You know, psychology is 80% of everything, whether it's business, relationship, whatever. Like if you, it's actually fun. I say it all the time when I'm, because obviously, as you know, I run my team, I coach, and the accountability piece is so spot on. Like on our team, we set an annual goal, then there's a monthly review, then there's a weekly CO report, then there's a daily check-in. So like there's, it's just about guardrails, right? Like, but because of that accountability, you'll just perform better because nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I really want to suck today, you know, like, but we get distracted, we get overwhelmed, we get all these things. And then if you're not in the right mindset, you know, if you let yourself get into overwhelm. So I think all that's spot on, but 80% of everything we do is mindset. And so I always make the Men in Black, you know, reference or joke when I'm dealing with an agent or even somebody I'm coaching outside of real estate. It's like, you know, I just can't get up early. I can't get up at 5 a.m. It's too early for me. Like, let me ask you a question. If I was to Men in Black flashy thing you and instill the narrative that you've been getting up at 5 a.m. for the last 10 years, when your alarm clock went off tomorrow, what do you think would happen? I'm like, it's the narrative, it's the story, it's the psychology, it's the approach. You just shift that, the rest is easy. But it's just changing the way you look at the world or look at that little thing. And then gratitude is, I mean, you're right. I think people use it as a punchline, but actually you cannot be stressed and grateful at the same time. Those two things, it's like going east and west at the same time. It's not possible. You're either heading east or you're heading west. And if you're filled with gratitude, there's no space for things like stress, overwhelm, anger, frustration. So I think those are things are spot on. Anything to stay away from? Any mistakes you've made or things you would have done different or anything of
Yeah,
that nature?
yes. Bringing on too many processes at once, you
Yeah,
know, that's not only is it's you're just not going to be able to quantify what's working or not working.
that's right.
And,
Amen.
you know, and just being more authentic. People
Mm-hmm.
relate to me when I am, you know, with my videos, my neighborhood videos, and just being
Yeah.
on social media, is not worrying to show the ups, the downs, the challenges. Like, not everything is super positive in real
Right.
estate. But I've had overwhelming amount of people reach out to me recently, and they're like, I've been watching you for a while, and I like the fact that you show us that you're committed, completely
Yeah.
committed to it, showing us like all of it. Because everyone wants a real estate agent that's going to do a great job, but when the shit hits the fan, you know,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to care, like, that's in the trenches with you? So I
Totally.
definitely,
Totally. Yeah. I so agree with that, man. Authenticity is everything. No one's looking for
and I
perfection. You know, they just,
do like stop comparing yourself.
mm-hmm.
That was a big thing I was doing, comparing myself, like not
Totally.
enjoying successes along the way. So when I had a huge milestone, I wasn't even really appreciating it because then I was like, yeah, but it's not this, or but it's
Yep.
not that. You
Yep.
know, when you do
So
that,
true. Tony Robbins talks about this as Springsteen syndrome. He shares a story of early in his career, he had just done his first event with like 2,000 people, right? And it's like, oh my God, record breaker, this and that. And he was already like kind of famous. And he got invited to a Springsteen concert. And so he's like, listen, we can still make it. He gets on a helicopter. And he's like on top of the world. I just had my biggest event ever. Oh my God, it's all happening. And then he gets to Springsteen and there's 20,000 people. And he just goes from being like high on life to like, what am I doing with my life? I did 2,000 people. Springsteen just did 20,000. And he shares it as a story of like, yeah, but Springsteen's the boss, man. You know, like and he had been doing it for, it's like, yeah. And so we all do this. We are like, oh, I did, especially, you know, the overachievers. Like I was in a phone call this Tuesday with a developer, one of our bigger developers, and we have a big building for them, 300 units. And, you know, on that call is management as well. That management represents 7,000 units. So he opens the call by saying, hey, Eugene, I just want to give your team some credit. In our entire portfolio of 7,000 units and like 100 brokers, or it is, you guys came in fourth in terms of units done in the month of September. There was this team that did this build, blah, blah, whatever, and fourth. So I just want to say congratulations. And I swear to God, I didn't mean this to come off as a date. I was like, congratulations for what? We finished fourth. Like, what are you talking about? Like, all I heard was we tied for second. That's like all I heard. And it's like, the funny thing is, I'm like, but those guys, we're doing X pricing. They're giving away the apartments. So there's a lot of other stuff, but it's so funny how we can get blind to the success because we're in this like overachieve mode.
Yes.
It's just interesting. It's interesting.
Even with our transactions, I have to 5-minute meditation before I have a call with my buyers or seller to say I have to be very present, realize it's a very big transaction in their life.
Yeah.
Like, right? Because we're like, otherwise you're in that transactional mode. So I think that's very important to check in with yourself.
Jackie, I love you, homie. Jackie goes, how many did we get to number one? I don't know. But last month, 15 applications took number one. We are on October 2nd, and we just submitted 3 apps. So team, Litbag team, like literally, I submitted the app, and I'm like, I'm coming for first place, people. Very cool, Megan. Very, 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 very cool. Talk to me about, actually, I just want to say one thing because I agree with this wholeheartedly too, is, I'm so sorry. That's James. Sorry. The Fieros. I got a Jackie Fiero and a James Fiero, and it just says Ja Fiero.
Oh, that's so
Oh, that's amazing. Sorry about that. They're both on at the same time too. Look at how quick. Anyways, so I was gonna say on the point of delegation. Once upon a time, I looked at every single social media post. I looked at every single e-blast. I looked at every single mailer, and it consumed a ton of my time. And when it comes to the right team, obviously, as Sarah Katz, thank you very much for the compliment. That compliment is not to me. That compliment is to Sarah because I see our marketing basically at the same time as the rest of the world sees it, and she's phenomenal. Aligning yourself with the right people. It's everything. So speaking of marketing, you touched on this a little bit, but I find that as part of Compass, we have a lot of technology available to us, and I think your marketing is quite great. Talk to us. What are some of the technology vehicles or some of the marketing vehicles that you think helped you grow your career?
So marketing is like a passion of mine. I really look at it as I'm marketing homes and property developments versus selling homes. I love email blasts and putting them together. But my spin is the neighborhood guides. I do a lot of neighborhood guides, which through Compass, each year I've doubled my business and production because they have incredible, you won't even realize unless you're in our platform. We have an incredible marketing center that we're able to put together some beautiful templates for email blasts. I have emails, social media templates, video. Video has been the past year. I actually have on staff a videographer that just does all my videos with me.
That's
During
cool.
I really realized that, people were at home. There was a lot of exposure. People who may be afraid to come to South Florida because we're such a hot destination right now. How am I going to relate to them and showcase what we have to offer? So I started this neighborhood series. I actually love rollerblading and I love being active. So it was like rollerblading through the neighborhoods and then biking through the neighborhoods and showing like a local perspective and highlighting businesses, highlighting our listings in turn. And that was super successful. Nobody was really doing it. My clarity helped because I was out in the neighborhoods. I was meeting people that I had never seen before. Because when we are in the hustle and bustle of normal life, we're just going. So quarantine, slow down and kind of highlight where we live. So video is key. I'm trying to think in terms of, I also do a lot of traditional marketing. I mean, I'm very big on open houses. We're able to still do open houses here. I don't know about you guys. Are you doing open houses yet, or
by appointment only?
Appointment on, yeah. That's kind of how we staggered it.
Yeah.
So people, neighborhood guides, printouts. I mean, we're still doing traditional marketing, and we do a lot of patchy ads, like local driven ads that
Very
are
cool.
teen businesses.
Very cool. I mean, yeah, video is everything. I mean, like even if you look at where social media technology is going, TikTok came on. I mean, first it was like Instagram stories, then Facebook tried to do stories, then TikTok, and now Reels. And it's like, I think there's a statistic that like if you're doing a post of some sort and it doesn't have video, there's like an 11% chance that it goes into the algorithm. But meanwhile, video there's like a 90% chance. And you know the only thing I would add to that is not to let the sole measure or KPI about success be how many views, how many likes. Like to someone that's starting out, like don't even give a shit about any of that. So we started doing, really consistent social media and e-blast marketing forever ago. Jackie asks, can you dance while rollerblading? I bet so. I
Yeah.
bet so. So we started doing this, and we started, TLT Talks. I think it's almost a year ago at this point. And look, it's not like we have 1,000 people on every show, but even people on social media, they love to be stalkers. Like they'll watch, they might not like, they may not comment, but I tell you, everywhere I go at this point, like I'll bump into someone like, oh, that was a great show with Megan the other day. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, could you give a brother a like? But I just don't let it get into my, like we do measure. Sarah's got a whole really, really intricate spreadsheet about likes and engagement and this and that. And we look at it, we try to see where can we be better, but it's not our driving force. Our driving force is just, and this is directly from Gary Vee. I don't want to make it sound like it's my words. Just put out great content. Just literally just go, just do, don't worry so much about the numbers. This is a marathon game. And then over time, it kind of lands. And it's like, look, there's also with marketing, we had Matt Spangler on a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking to him. Jan, thank you. Appreciate it. We had Matt Spangler on, and, him and I, we both, like yourself, we both love marketing. And I'm like, look, you also got to understand what kind of marketing are you doing? Are you doing branding right now? Or are you doing lead gen right now? Because that's going to change entirely what you're trying to do. And, there is some overlap, but overall, like, don't overthink it. Just go, man. Just put out great content. It's like, just do you.
I 100% agree with that. And I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, it's like in your head. Well, I only got 10 likes. Well, it's over quantity.
That's
and
right. That's right.
Consider to build it because you never really know who's really watching you.
That's right. That's right.
DM, right? And they say, sell my home or, a developer
totally.
and sees that you're consistent.
To your point, actually, we've been doing our newsletter consistent forever. And so like you and I originally connected over the newsletter, but we've been doing a newsletter consistently forever, for like as long as I can remember. And I remember getting an email from a developer. He's like, hey, Eugene. I'm like, oh, hey, guy, what's going on? Because I didn't know he was a developer. So let me take a step back. I get an email from this guy. And I remember shopping studios with him 4 years ago. Like that's who he is in my world. Hey, I've been keeping up with all of your success, yada, yada. Well, actually, I now own 40 buildings, and
Nice.
I'm looking to switch, and I'm looking to buy another one that's in Williamsburg, and whatever. So we just kind of like, so for 4 years, this guy's been getting my newsletters, reading them, not contacting me.
Right.
There's a learn for there for me too. My dumb tax is that I wasn't in touch with this guy, but he was like one person I met out of hundreds. And all of a sudden, now I'm having a conversation. He's a developer, and then we literally signed 2 buildings, 45 units each, and then it got paused because of COVID or whatever. But like, this shit works, man. Directly from Ninja selling TSW, right? This shit works. Like, just be consistent, get your message out there, get yourself out there. Don't overthink it. Like, just kind of go. And you do that plenty. Like, I mean, your videos are awesome. They're beautifully produced, so it makes sense to me that you have somebody on staff because the videos are always really great. You're so authentic in the videos. You don't feel stiff. Like some people get really nervous in front of the camera, and it's actually funny. The people that get the most nervous in front of the camera are the ones that are being inauthentic. They're so worried about how they look instead of just like delivering content, just delivering value, right? And it's like it's already hard enough being ourselves. There's no reason to put on a mask and be somebody else. Like.
Why I love live too. I've been doing a lot of streaming because I've pushed a lot of people. This is one of my first. I'm normally interviewing others, so this is like
nice.
but it's like I learned so much from my friends that I'm doing. I'm like, this is, and after I get reviews from them, they're like, this was amazing to be able to do this and to talk authentically and have both of our followers sharing. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
technology just right there.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to hanging with you in Florida again sometime soon. We've made like 3 different times we made plans to go and then canceled because of whatever. All right, my love. Final 2 things. Number 1, Florida is a very big market, a very big it's a primary market. I mean, I got a ton of friends there, but it's also a big secondary market. So how's Florida doing? Is it a good time to buy? Are there discounts? What's going on? And also any final tips on anything you want to share. We talked about marketing, technology, entrepreneurial principles, being a woman in business. I mean, anything at all, any tips. I mean, I just, again, I find you as such a leader in our industry that I think people are really fortunate, to hear from you, whatever you may have to share.
Yeah, so I'm blessed that I grew up in South Florida and to watch the amount of growth and development and commercial developers that are looking at our market. And it's from the past just 5 years, from Miami to Boca and Fort Lauderdale, the growth is incredible. I mean, before COVID hit, we were having 900 people daily moving to South Florida. Now we're about 1,000. So we have tremendous growth. I mean, my calls, the past 6 calls have been Chicago, New York, New Jersey, and now we're having a lot of Californians that are coming here. We have the single family market is booming. I mean, we're having multiple offer situations. That wasn't really our market prior to COVID. I mean, we were having positioned well and move-in ready. Of course, we were getting solid offers, but we're having over asking, multiple offers. Wow. So we're seller's market in terms of single family, and for condos, buyer's market. Everyone's shifting with what their needs are in their homes, looking for more space, having a yard, having a pool. Amenities were shut down during COVID. So I'm sure you're experiencing the same thing. I mean, most of the market, we have the sales prices are going up, and it's shocked me the past 2 months how much inventory has been absorbed. So we have limited inventory now. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are coming here. I mean, New York is amazing. It's always going to be New York, but a lot of people are coming here temporarily for the next 6 months to a year. You're buying a second home, just in case we have another wave. So my tip to those who are watching, I wish I would have done this sooner, is to get involved as an agent. Get involved with your association. If you have an association, it's incredible the amount of advocacy and voice you can have. I'm working hand in hand with our CEO, Teresa Kinney, as well as city officials, mayors, hand in hand with actual, fair housing. Coming soon, when we had the coming soon issue that came up, like topics that are affecting our lives day in, day out. I would just say, get involved as much as you can, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. If you're thinking about, you want to reach a developer that you want to do a deal with and that you want to put a proposal to, the people who actually step out of the box and show some, balls, they actually, they stand out. So I just, don't be afraid. That's, sometimes you wait and you get an opportunity. So
I love that you just talked to me about showing your balls. That might have been my favorite quote of the whole. That might have been my favorite quote of the whole life.
As a woman in real estate, so great to show your balls.
I love it. Absolutely, that's literally my favorite. When we do the title, "Show Them Your Balls," that's going to be literally the title of the live. No, but I hear you. You can't like, listen. I literally do this with my kids, where I'm like, you got to be courageous. I'm like, look, courage is not the absence of fear. It's, you feel the fear, but you do it anyways. And so, this is a business. So like, no one's going to hand you anything. There's a ton of competition in every business. There's no more reinventing the wheel. Like every business, there's an energy matters, being a high energy matters, strategy matters. And man, courage matters. You can't be afraid to like, go for it. Like you got to go for it. You got to be confident. You don't have to win every time. And you certainly don't have to be right every time. But like, you got to go for it. You know, like what else are you doing here otherwise? You know, like
I took way too long to draft my first, and it's pretty much majority of agents, they don't have a business plan. I mean, I know you run your
yeah.
team, you know, operate about
Um,
that. Really putting together milestones, a business plan, and having someone who's going to hold you accountable. When you do that, you can actually measure and your
yeah,
success with a
yeah,
passion. I mean, our industry, we're therapists, we're real estate agents,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
you need to have some passion in
yeah,
it too.
yeah. So true. Literally the death of progress is I'm getting better. It's the death of progress. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what does
Right.
that mean exactly? Yeah, you're so right, man. I mean, honestly, people, like if we were going to get in our car, if we were going to go in our car and go somewhere and we didn't know how to get there, the first thing we would do is we would punch it into the navigation. That's a goal. And then we follow the directions. And that's your daily critical drivers to get to that goal. And so many people I know, they're like, I mean, we just hired 6 agents. And in almost every single interview, it was like, cool, what do you want? I want to get into sales. I'm like, what does that actually mean? And nobody had an answer for me. You know, it's like, are you trying? So if you do one sale next year, are you in sales now? Do you need to do
Right.
50? Like, what do you need to do one sale of $50 million? Or what does get into sales actually mean? And because of that, progress is actually slower. And more to the point, emotional states are weaker. Whereas if you just know, like, hey, man, look, you know, I want to do one deal a quarter next year. Great, let's reverse engineer that. Well, that means you need to do X amount of phone call, blah, 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 whatever. And all of a sudden, you know, progress and measuring all stuff becomes energizing because either you hit it or you missed it. And if you missed it, you reroute. But
Right.
all of a sudden, you go 6 months, 9 months, and you're like, oh, I want to get into sales. Well, it's getting better. What's getting better? Like, what are you talking about? You know, so yeah, I'm a big, big fan of like clarity and structure and, you know, all that good
And one
stuff.
blessing since I've joined Compass is the incredible colleagues that have become friends, lifelong friends that are so open to picking up the phone. I have a question, I have an answer. You know, I think a lot of agents with business operating on their own and they're just continuously making mistakes and they're
Yeah.
afraid to reach out to the person that they've been following a long time. So if anyone who's would say if there's someone that you are looking from afar and you are inspired by them, reach out to them.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's been incredible with the time I've been with Compass and just like things like this, how we've met and, you know,
Totally. Totally. No,
it's amazing.
I totally agree. Modeling is so important. There's no reason to learn this all by yourself. Like someone is already doing it really well. Like, I mean, honestly, when I first came to Compass, I had known Leonard from before, but when I first came to Compass, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have this guy mentor me. And I literally took him to lunch. And like, you know, it could really, for someone that's fearful, oh, it's Leonard Steinberg, he's too busy, whatever. I'm like, day one at Compass, I emailed Leonard, I'm like, hey, Leonard, I'd love to go to lunch. Yeah, sure. We sat down to lunch. It's really validating because I realized I'm already doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Leonard's like, Eugene, I have the answer for you. Chill out. Just chill out. It's just time for you.
Right.
That was ultimately his advice to me. But yeah, modeling is so important. I mean, there's an agent, Caroline Bass. I think she's a Corcoran now. Doesn't really matter. But we were at City Habitats together, and she was so amazing at client care. Every client got a gift, and she stayed in touch. And as you know, one of the big cruxes in our business for agents, one of the big Achilles heels is staying in touch. And so I just took her to lunch and interviewed her. I'm like, listen, I do goals and structure and all that stuff really, really well. I can see you do the client thing really well. Let's just trade, you know, let's just exchange. So we got into that, and that got me going that way. And I didn't mention this earlier when you said this about coaching. Cannot, cannot stress the value and importance of coaching. Whatever you pay, it's worth it. Not you personally. Whatever one pays, as long as you find the
Oh,
right coach, it's like, I mean, I can't even count how much money I've spent on Keith Cunningham and Tony Robbins and Tom Ferry. Like, yeah, it's because, sorry, go ahead, babe.
no. I was saying I like what you said about client relations. So my model is very different. I don't pay for leads. It's past
Yeah,
clients, it's
same.
social media, but it's also treat each client as their family.
That's right.
My love
That's right.
language is gift giving. So
Hmm.
it's because I have a whole gift section in my office where it's like, what am I going to give or what's going to be
Yeah,
tailored? And those little things, like agents they make a mistake where the transaction closes and they don't follow up, whether,
Yeah.
yes, on digital marketing, but also those handwritten notes and I can't stress enough, or packages that you're getting, little note, you're thinking of them, or a phone call. We're so
Yeah.
embarrassed because I looked at my screen time yesterday. Oh my gosh. How much time we spend online digitally, we need to
Yeah.
just phone, make sure to
Or
keep.
like a video. You mentioned video, or like, hey John, happy birthday. Thinking of you.
Yeah,
10 seconds, send a video and it's free. Like, yeah. Anyways, I could talk to you literally all day long. Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom. I'm very much looking forward to watching you dance on rollerblades and just hang out. I'm very much looking forward to you and James Fierro chopping it up on the dance floor, the two pros. Right after we win #1 with the Amberley, obviously. Megan is a blast. Is the best. Guys, on a bumper sticker from Megan Probst, don't be afraid to show them your balls. On a bumper sticker. On a bumper sticker. Oh, that was amazing. That was great. Honey, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
This is great. Bye, everybody.
See ya.